Hello again and welcome back to the Retro Room. Today's episode are some lesser-known historical facts from around our world. History is a treasure trove of captivating stories, remarkable events, and intriguing characters. While we often learn about well-known historical events in school, there are countless lesser-known moments that hold equal fascination. Join us on a journey through time as we uncover 14 extraordinary and little-known historical events that will leave you astounded.
Roll sound. Rolling.
Rolling!
Sound speed.
Awesome. Take two. Mark.
And action.
Ketchup was once a medicine. In the 19th century, ketchup was sold as a cure for various ailments like indigestion and diarrhea. Yes, in the 1830s, tomato ketchup was indeed sold as a medicine, particularly by Dr. John Cook Bennett, who claimed it could cure ailments like indigestion, diarrhea, and jaundice. He even marketed tomato pills made with ketchup. The idea was popular at the time, but the ketchup as medicine market collapsed by the 1850s. The tomato pills Bennett even developed and sold tomato pills as a form of the medicine. When the market collapsed, the ketchup as medicine craze was short-lived and the market reportedly collapsed by the 1850s, with many competitors entering the scene and selling their own versions of the product, some with dubious ingredients. As reported by Yahoo! Heinz's commercialization of the ketchup we know today was popularized as a condiment by the Heinz Company in the late 1800s, according to the Times of India. Vikings didn't wear horned helmets. The idea that Vikings wore horned helmets is a myth. While Vikings did wear helmets, they were typically simple, rounded skullcaps or spectacle-shaped helmets with a face protector. The myth of horned helmets likely originated in 19th century artistic depictions and costuming for operas like Wagner's Der Ring des Nibelungen. No evidence of horned helmets, despite extensive archaeological digs. No Viking-era helmets with horns have been found. The actual practicality. Horns would have been impractical in combat, offering little protection and potentially hindering movement. The real historical origins. The misconception of horned helmets likely stems from 19th century artistic and theatrical portrayals. The real Viking helmets. Authentic Viking helmets were typically made of iron or leather and were designed for protection, often featuring a rounded skullcap, a face protector, and sometimes an eye guard. These were for ceremonial use, while some horned helmets existed in earlier periods, such as the Vexo helmets from Denmark. These were likely ceremonial and not worn in battle. Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian. Cleopatra was a Greek ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, not Egyptian. No, Cleopatra was not ethnically Egyptian. She was of Macedonian Greek descent. She was the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ruled Egypt for several generations after Alexander the Great's death. While she was born and ruled in Egypt, her family's origins were in Macedonia, a region in present-day Greece. She spoke Greek as her native language and was the first Ptolemaic ruler to learn Egyptian.
Abraham Lincoln was a licensed bartender. Before becoming president, Lincoln co-owned a bar in Illinois. Yes, Abraham Lincoln was indeed a licensed bartender before becoming president. He co-owned a store and drinking establishment called Berry and Lincoln in New Salem, Illinois, which was issued a liquor license in 1833. Lincoln and William F. Berry co-owned a general store and tavern that also sold liquor. In 1833, the partners received a liquor license, allowing them to sell brandy, wine, and whiskey. Lincoln eventually left the business to become the postmaster of New Salem. The partnership fell into debt due to Berry's alcoholism, and Lincoln wouldn't fully pay off the debt until he became a congressman. This makes Lincoln the only U.S. president to have been a licensed bartender before taking office. The shortest war in history, the Anglo-Zanzibar War in 1896, lasted only 38 minutes. The Anglo-Zanzibar War, fought on August 27, 1896, is widely considered the shortest war in history, lasting approximately 38 minutes. It pitted the British Empire against the Sultanate of Zanzibar over a disputed succession to the throne. The conflict began when the British refused to accept Prince Khalid ibn Barhash as the new sultan, and he occupied the palace. The British responded with naval bombardment, leading to a swift surrender and the installation of Hamid ibn Muhammad as sultan. Female gladiators existed. While not as well documented as male gladiators, evidence suggests there were female gladiators in ancient Rome. Yes, there were female gladiators in ancient Rome, known as gladiatrices. While they were not as numerous or prominent as their male counterparts, evidence from art, literature, and laws indicates that they participated in gladiatorial combat, often as a novelty act. Roman writers like Juvenal, Tacitus, and Cassius Dio mention female gladiators in their accounts. A relief from Halicarnassus in Turkey, now in the British Museum, depicts two women gladiators, Amazon and Achillea, fighting to a draw. The Roman Senate passed laws in 11 and 19 AD prohibiting upper-class women from participating in gladiatorial contests, suggesting they were involved in the first place. Some women may have been motivated by a desire for independence, fame, or financial rewards, while others may have been drawn to the thrill of the spectacle. Women of all classes, including enslaved individuals, middle class, and even some upper-class women, participated in gladiatorial combat. Female gladiators were considered exotic and novel, often used as novelty acts to entertain audiences.
Ancient Egyptians invented toothpaste. Evidence suggests they used a paste made of ingredients like pumice, salt, and herbs to clean their teeth. Yes, the ancient Egyptians are widely credited with inventing a form of toothpaste dating back to around 5000 BC. They used a variety of abrasive and aromatic ingredients to create a powder or paste to clean their teeth. The Egyptians used various materials like crushed pumice, burnt eggshells, ox hooves, and ashes to create a paste for cleaning their teeth. They also incorporated ingredients like myrrh and other aromatics for freshening breath. While modern toothbrushes and toothpaste tubes were yet to be invented, the Egyptians likely applied the paste with their fingers or possibly even early versions of toothbrushes made from frayed twigs. The Egyptians sought to keep their teeth and gums clean, whiten their teeth, and freshen their breath, much like modern-day toothpaste. Over time, other civilizations, including the Greeks and Romans, also developed their own versions of toothpaste with variations in ingredients, such as crushed bones and oyster shells. Rasputin survived multiple attacks. While the myth of Rasputin surviving poison and gunshots is popular, it's not supported by evidence. Yes, Grigory Rasputin reportedly survived multiple assassination attempts, including one where he was stabbed and another where he was allegedly poisoned with cyanide. However, he eventually succumbed to his injuries after being shot multiple times and drowned in a river, according to historical accounts. Rasputin's survival of earlier attacks added to his mystique and made his eventual demise even more dramatic. For example, he survived a stabbing and a later attempt to poison him with cyanide, which led to the story of him being hard to kill. The death of Rasputin. In December 1916, a group of conspirators, including Prince Felix Yusupov and others, lured Rasputin to Yusupov's palace, intending to poison him with cyanide in food and drink. Despite being given a large amount of cyanide, Rasputin showed no signs of being affected. Frustrated by the failure of the cyanide, Yusupov and his associates shot Rasputin multiple times. Rasputin reportedly revived after being shot and even attempted to flee. After being shot again by Vladimir Purishkevich and battered, Rasputin was thrown into the frozen Neva River, where he drowned. A forensic review of available evidence suggests that Rasputin died from a close-range gunshot wound to the forehead. The Vikings discovered America. The Vikings, not Columbus, were the first Europeans to reach America in the 11th century. Yes, Vikings were the first Europeans to reach North America around 1000 AD, several centuries before Christopher Columbus. Leif Erikson is believed to have led the first European expedition to North America, landing at what is now Newfoundland, Canada. The Vikings, a group of Norse explorers and traders, were the first Europeans to reach North America, with Leif Erikson credited with leading the first expedition. Archaeological evidence, particularly the L'Anse aux Meadows site in Newfoundland, supports the Viking presence in North America around 1000 AD. While Columbus is often credited with discovering America, the Vikings reached North America much earlier, around 500 years before his arrival. The Vikings were also the first Europeans to cross the Atlantic Ocean, establishing settlements in Iceland, Greenland, and eventually North America. The Viking voyages demonstrate that Europeans were actively exploring and traveling across the Atlantic much earlier than commonly believed. Tug of war was an Olympic sport. It was part of the Olympics program until 1920. Yes, tug-of-war was once an Olympic sport, appearing in the Summer Olympics from 1900 to 1920. It was part of the Olympic athletics program during that time, although it's now considered a separate sport. Tug-of-war was included in the Summer Olympics for 5 consecutive games: 1900, 1904, 1906, 1908, and 1920. Teams competed, and the goal was to pull the opposing team over a designated line or to make them fall over. The rules varied slightly over the years, including the number of players per team, 5 or 6 in 1900 and 1904, 8 in later years, and the distance the team had to be pulled to win. The British teams, often composed of London City police officers, were particularly successful, winning 2 gold medals and a silver. After the 1920 Games, tug-of-war was removed from the Olympic program along with other sports due to a perceived need to reduce the number of sports and participants. The first video ever uploaded to YouTube was Me at the Zoo, uploaded on April 23, 2005 by YouTube co-founder Jawed Karim. The 19-second video features Karim standing in front of an elephant exhibit at the San Diego Zoo, where he makes a brief commentary about the elephant's trunks. You can watch the first video ever uploaded on YouTube.
Thank you for watching today's episode. Please leave a like and subscribe down at the bottom. Don't forget to hit that notification bell.